Well, it looks like it's working. The title of this one, and it's probably going to be a bit controversial, but then again, a lot of my videos are controversial uh, because I see things maybe a little bit differently than other people do. But the title is Two Types of Alcoholics. My ex-brother-in-law drank every day, morning till night. Yes, he drove. However, he never had an accident nor a drunk driving ticket or any other kind. He was a good driver despite his drinking. I know this from personal experience since he drove me several times during my recovery from my first open heart surgery. I was surprised. I have come to learn, however, that drinking does not affect all of us in the same way. Some can handle it, others cannot. The ones that cannot, in my opinion, should not drive when they have been drinking. Not at all. Yes, I bring this subject up because it has come up in my life, in my world. And I reflected a lot on my ex-brother-in-law, and I do believe that at the time that I saw him last, he was doing some kind of recovery because it was killing him. It was literally taking his life. Uh, and he was making some kind of amends. I haven't followed up because I have not been in touch with him since the separation from my second wife. Anyway, uh, things in my own family have brought this issue to a head uh, because I recognize certain patterns that are similar uh, between my ex-brother-in-law and members of my family. And I see things that are not so similar at all. And the ones that are not so similar are the troubling ones, because they're the ones that end up with drunk driving charges, accidents, etc. And that's something that needs to be avoided. Uh, Again, not everyone is susceptible to the effects of alcohol as so far as making them incoherent, bad drivers, etc. I know that from personal experience. It's not something I'm imagining. It's not something that I've made up. It's the reality. Now, would one of these good drivers who drinks a lot, would they be able to pass a breathalyzer test? Probably not. I don't know, but probably not because the alcohol is there. However, they don't get stopped. They don't draw attention to themselves. Others draw attention to themselves and then they get in trouble. And I don't like when somebody blames me for what their situation is. Um, it isn't right. Uh, so I've had to face this in recent times, and I've had to do a lot of reflection back uh, on the overall problem of drinking and driving, and who can and who can't, who should and who shouldn't. And I don't know, what the psychological or chemical makeup is of the individuals involved. All that I know is that from personal experience, some people are able to handle their alcohol, and it does not affect their ability to operate an automobile. Uh, it would just simply not draw attention. It's simple as that. Um, so anyway, this is going to be a short video, obviously. I did want to make certain things clear. Uh, and I want to make it really clear that those that have problems when they're drinking, those that do draw attention to themselves, should not drive, period, when they're drinking. They should not be allowed behind the wheel. They should have enough common sense to stay away from behind the wheel. Now, I'm going to add something personal. When I go to hear my son's band play, and not recently because I'm on medication, so I can't do that, but when I used to go, I mean, just ordinarily I would have 2 drinks during the course of the evening. I'd have one drink when I'd get there, and I'd have another drink about halfway through the gig. I don't think I ever even felt the effect of drink number 1 or drink number 2 by the time, uh, like when by the time I'd finished the first one and order the second one, there would be no drunken stupor or feeling of lightheadedness or anything like that. There was just a couple of hours time that had passed, and it didn't register. And by the time that I would leave and go home driving, I mean, I was perfectly okay. Uh, would I have passed a breathalyzer test? I really don't know. I don't know how long it takes for the alcohol to dissipate, uh, but I seemed perfectly okay, and I did not draw attention to myself insofar as erratic driving or anything like that. Uh, so anyway, I point these things out because of situations in my world right now, and to let you reflect on the effects of drinking and driving. Now, I would say point blank that if you're drinking more than 2 drinks a day, you're probably drinking too much. You're probably an alcoholic. If you're drinking every day, you're probably an alcoholic. Now, for me, in my personal experience, a 1.75-liter bottle of vodka would last me 2+ months before I'd have to go and replenish the supply. Uh, so even when I was at home and not driving, I was not over drinking. Now there's been a few occasions where I would purposely get a buzz, but again, I wasn't behind the wheel of a car during those times. So I encourage you to properly identify yourself, to know what kind of a drinker you are and what kind of a driver you are when you drink. If you have a record of getting stopped or getting into accidents because of your drinking, I would seriously consider stop drinking or stop driving when you've been drinking. Anyway, I wanted to make this video for clarification purposes so that you understood where I was coming from. And I thank those of you who have listened, and welcome comments. We'll see what happens. Namaste.